Morning, everybody. It looks like we still have a few people still joining and logging in, so we'll wait here just one more minute, and then we'll get started. Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Eric Stevenson from Midstates, and I want to thank everybody who's joining us today for the presentation. And I really appreciate everybody taking a little time out of their day to attend this morning. And hopefully you'll find some of the information useful, and you can at least have a couple things that are tidbits of information that you can take back and share with the rest of your team. Before we get started, there's just a couple of quick housekeeping things we want to talk about. First of all, everybody's muted right now, so we ask that you keep your lines on mute until the presentation is complete. There is a chat box that if you have questions, please just type your questions in the chat box to everyone, and then we'll address those at the end of the presentation. Should time not allow, if we have too many questions, we'll get back to each one individually, either via phone or email, to get your questions answered. The presentation is being recorded, and we will have that posted to our website by the end of this week. So it'll be available for future viewing or something as a reference point for you to use. So with us today in the room here at Midstates, I have Tracy Kleiman. Anybody who's mailed with Midstates previously knows Tracy is a valuable resource. We're glad that she's here, and if there are any questions, she'll probably be answering all of them for us. And also I have Matt Brain, who's our Vice President of Sales. He's kind of coordinated the effort here today. So he's here as well to help field the questions at the end of the presentation. Helping me today and doing hopefully most of the talking, and I'll be quiet, is Michelle Zaluski. She's the Vice President of Postal Affairs from ALG Worldwide. And Michelle has extensive postal knowledge. She is a tremendous resource for both the industry and for the post office. When there's questions of things going on within the industry, she serves on many boards, different committees, both MTAC and DTAC, PostCom, other postal committees. So very well respected person within the mailing industry. Also, Stephanie Kirschbaum, she has a long-standing career with the post office. She's currently our business alliance specialist, and she's our go-to person when we have questions about things that are going on within the postal system. And she'll be talking a little bit about, what are some advantages or some opportunities that you have for the remainder of 2021, and then looking ahead in 2022 for possible discounts and savings. So just a quick overview. We're talking real briefly just about the state of the transportation industry, and this will be a very brief overview, and if there's questions, and if we can talk more in depth later, but just how do things get to where we're at today? What is the proposed pricing increase look like for this fall if it goes into effect, which we would hope to hear something within the next 2 or 3 days? And then what promotions are available, and then what other opportunities do we have to save some money on postage? I think the biggest thing is the industry's kind of been in a volatile position for the last few years, and mainly, if you look at it mainly from a trucking industry standpoint, there's been a driver shortage for years, and that just got a little bit exacerbated here in the last year with COVID. And the industry is old, the drivers are aging, and there's not a huge pipeline of people backfilling them if they decide to retire or decide that they don't want to be on the road anymore and go find another profession. So, the drivers are short. COVID kind of had a dramatic impact on that industry as far as drivers, but also on the online shopping. I think everybody felt some type of an impact last fall when the Postal Service kind of struggled, not only with the mail side of things, but parcel and package, which kind of put the whole network in kind of a tailspin through the end of last year and the beginning of 2021. But I think it's important that everybody needs to realize that it's not just the mail that is being affected by things in today's environment. It's small package, it's LTL, it's truckload, it's any type of good that's being moved via the air, via rail or ocean liner. And if one ripple effect occurs on the, in the ocean, getting materials or goods from overseas, everybody feels that impact. And it's no longer a local, regional, or national market. It's definitely, we are all part of a global economy, and everybody feels when there's issues, like in the ports in China. We all know that that causes impacts every other part of the transportation or supply chain as things move forward. So how did the post office get to where we're at today? Well, they had in 2006, they passed the Postal Accountability Enhancement Act, which after 10 years, they take a look back to see how did we do. It was the increases were linked to the consumer price index. And if you look at the chart, they've been underwater since that went into place. And so the increases that were put into place were not enough to sustain their business. The $87 billion lost in 14 years. At the end of the act, the PRC, the Postal Regulatory Commission, took 4 years to review the information and said, well, there's some things and changes that need to occur. So the $87 billion on top of their funding that the government says that the post office has to fund for retirements, and then a loss, a $9 billion loss in 2020. So the new 10-year plan, which has a little bit better ring to it, the Delivering for America plan, is shown here. The biggest thing here is it's just a cut in operating expense. And I think that will be the true picture of what happens here in the next, especially the next year, as far as what does the post office do with the network. And that's where the big changes are coming, the changes in service standards, the movement of first class mail, and how are they going to utilize their network to reduce expenses and maximize the capacity that they have in all of their feeder movements within their network. So I think that really is going to be something to watch here in the next 6 months to see how things roll out and what the plan is for next year. They've at least told us that nothing will happen in 2021. Make no changes before going into another peak season so that we don't have, hopefully, any type of disruption this fall. So that's kind of how we got to where we are today. With that, I'll turn it over to Michelle. She's going to talk way more informatively about the proposed changes for 2021 fall rate increase. Thanks, Michelle.
All right. Yeah, thank you. And thanks everyone for joining. So what we're going to talk through is the proposed rate increase. So the first slide, I put together a summary. This is a good takeaway and something maybe some of you have seen before. So this is a summary by mail class. It shows the estimated percentage of increase. First class and marketing mail being about 6.8%, periodicals and package services being about 2% higher, which we'll go through in another slide of why, at 8.8%. The biggest question that I get is, what is the timeline, right? When will these prices go into effect? So right now this is estimated. So the Postal Service, the process is Postal Service has to submit the rates to the Postal Regulatory Commission. The Postal Regulatory Commission, or PRC, then can come back and rule or approve all of them. They can come back and approve some of them and ask for information on others. So right now we are estimating that the PRC will come back or make a ruling on July 19th, because the Postal Service has put out an implementation date. They want a target of August 29th. And there does need to be a 45-day time frame between approval to implementation. So if the PRC comes back and rules later, or rules on some of them and asks for additional information, that could push that implementation date back. So right now, this is just an estimate. So I like to talk a little bit about the rate authority details. So another big question that we get from customers is, why is this increase so large? And why are periodicals and package services so much higher than the other classes? So the PRC ruled at the end of last year. They gave the Postal Service some additional rate authority. And that means that, traditionally for the past many years, the Postal Service only raised rates by CPI. But because the PRC gave them some additional rate authority, it has granted them the ability to raise rates by a little bit more. So this kind of breaks down what those breakdowns are. So CPI is 1.24%. The PRC gave the Postal Service a 4.5% density. And what the density means is the Postal Service has a loss of pieces per mailbox. So we've all heard this quite a bit, that the number of addresses in this country keep increasing, but the number of pieces per address is decreasing. So that number of pieces per mailbox density loss was calculated at 4.5%. And then the Postal Service has an unpaid balance for retirement of just over 1%. So that means that some of the classes could go as high as 6.8%, as we're seeing the Postal Service is taking all of their rate authority with this rate case. And then you'll see a non-compensatory 2% for some classes of mail. So the PRC ruled actually a few years ago that the Postal Service was underwater by about 2% for certain classes of mail. And underwater just means that the cost the Postal Service is charging, or the cost that the Postal Service is incurring, is lower than the rate that they're charging. So remember, the Postal Service is a not-for-profit. So postage rates have to cover their costs. It's not supposed to exceed the cost. It's not supposed to be under the cost. It's supposed to be a break even. So that's why you'll see an additional 2%. Next slide. So this is a little bit more information on the density adder. This kind of talks about something I mentioned in the last slide. So the changes year over year, the number of delivery entry points. You know, the Postal Service is allowed to bank some unused density pricing. So that 4.5%, if they didn't use it all with this rate increase, they could bank some percentage for future. There is some concern in the industry that, you know, as costs go up, mail volume potentially can go down. Will the density adder continue to increase percentage-wise, you know, as we move forward? And that, I guess, we'll just have to see, but something to really kind of watch out for. Next slide. So we're going to go through first class mail a little bit. This is kind of an overview. You know, so single piece first class stamp prices are going to go to 58 cents. So letter mail on average for first class is going up 6.3%. Cards are increasing quite a bit to over 13%. Now first class is actually the only mail class that has a separate letter rate versus a card rate. There is no card rate for marketing mail. So cards are basically those postcard size cards that you can mail at a reduced rate. And then flats will go up just over 10%. So quite a significant increase to some of these sections of first class. So marketing mail. So although marketing mail on average is going up 6.8%, there is a variance in the rate increase between letters, flats, and parcels. And then also between profit and nonprofit. So it's important to note that the Postal Service has, you may have heard them, you know, reference cap math. So although they have a cap within the class of mail, you can see some very large variances within that class of mail. So on average, as long as everything totals up to the 6.8%, you can see some rates lower and some rates much higher. So that's also why you'll see an average. And then if you maybe run your job and you are a flat mailer and you are a nonprofit, again, you can see a 10 to 12% increase, whereas profit flats are seeing on average just over 8%, which is much different than letter mail at 6.5% for profit and then 5% for nonprofit. So that's kind of one of the things where it's really important to kind of run the math on the types of jobs that you're mailing to see the actual impact of the rate increase. I thought this was interesting, which is why I put it at the bottom of the slide. The Postal Service stated in their filing that marketing mail letters provided 58 of all the marketing mail revenue. So therefore, some of those sections received a slightly below average increase. So this next slide just goes a little bit into the details for the marketing mail letters. So it shows you the variances between 5-digit, origin, and NDC and SCF. I'm such a mail geek that I really get into all these variances in the rate cells. So we did a lot of studying right when the rates came out, and what we found for letter mail is the Postal Service did increase the discount between the AADC rate and the 5-digit auto rate. And why is that important to call out? One of the things that customers can do to save postage or help mitigate the increases is by doing a service like dropship or co-mingling. Co-mingling can change the rate of the pieces. So if you can move more of your mailing from an AADC to a 5-digit rate using other mailings within a co-mingle, you'll see some additional savings. The other thing that I wanted to note is carrier route for letters. That received an above average increase. So the Postal Service came out and said carrier route for letter mail isn't as valuable to them as the rate signaled for the past many years. Because the Postal Service has delivery point barcode sorters, they really want all the mail to come in and do a 5-digit sort, because then they will submit to the delivery unit in their own carrier route order with all the volume that they have. So there are some carrier route categories, but they're not quite as valuable as they were many years ago. And the last thing for letter mail, and this is actually encouraging. So the one thing the Postal Service had been doing for marketing mail letters is reducing the dropship discount little by little for every rate case, I would say the last 4 years. And the reason that was happening is the PRC came to them and said they were providing too much of a discount for the cost savings they were getting for drop shipping. So that's why we've been seeing the dropship discounts go down. With this rate proposal, the dropship discounts are going back up. And that is partly because, as Eric mentioned, transportation costs are going up. So just like everyone in the industry is paying more, the Postal Service is paying more. So it's becoming more advantageous for the Postal Service to have people drop ship to them versus the Postal Service having to use their own transportation. Next slide. So marketing mail flats. So again, this is another grid that kind of goes through the individual prices within the rate category. The dropship discounts did increase a little bit on the flat side, not quite as much as the letter side, but it's encouraging that they didn't go down, so that's always a good thing. Carrier route also got hit the hardest in the flats category. You know, the one thing I always like to note is you may see carrier route percentages, the increase go up, but carrier route is still the cheapest piece cost for flats. So we've had some of those conversations internally that you may see, you know, your carrier route rate for a certain piece go up 10%, but your carrier route per piece rate is still cheaper than your 5-digit. So that means that cost saving options like co-mailing also will benefit or help mitigate any of the pricing changes. The Postal Service also added a new 1-cent discount for high density flats on 5-digit pallets. So what they're trying to signal is saying, okay, if you can get a specific carrier route on a 5-digit pallet, then the Postal Service will give you an additional discount so that all they have to do is cross-dock. They don't have to process it. They don't have to run it. They can just take that pallet, cross-dock it, and move it further into the system. Next slide. So periodicals pricing recap. So this one is interesting. Periodicals got the additional 2% cap from the PRC. So you're going to see those prices on average go up a little bit higher. The piece and pound rate increased to just over 10%. The pallet and sack pricing increased about 2%. and then the bundle pricing increase about 2%. Now, I've also heard rumors that the Postal Service with their new plan, Delivering for America, which I do like that name, they also submitted a possible Zone 10 for periodicals. So that is not part of this rate increase. That is something separate that's been proposed to the PRC. I'm not sure if we're going to hear any update, soon. And obviously, if that Zone 10 comes into play, that could have an additional impact on higher rates for periodicals. Next slide. So package services. So just like periodicals, this got an additional 2% to the rates as well. The one thing I wanted to note about package services is anyone who's mailing a bound printed matter flat, pay attention again in the Delivering for America or the 10-year rate plan for the Postal Service that they submitted. They are proposing to move bound printed matter from a market dominant pricing structure to competitive. So what that means is, again, pricing can go up for bound printed matter. So that's something everybody, again, if you are mailing in that category, you just kind of want to watch to see what the ruling might be on that.
Well, thanks, Michelle. I mean, definitely some valuable, some good information, and hopefully helps everybody understand exactly kind of what to expect should the PRC approve everything here going forward. With that, knowing that there's the potential for some increased costs this fall, I'll turn it over to Stephanie, and she can talk a little bit about, what does the post office have from a promotional standpoint to take advantage of discounts here in the second half of 2021, and what does 2022 look like?
Thanks, Eric, and thanks for having me. Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to share a few details about one of the ways to possibly offset some of the increases that were just mentioned, the proposed increase. We're halfway through this year, so we'll focus on the remaining promotions. The 2021 promotions continue to encourage marketers, printers, and mailers and partners such as yourselves to utilize new technology and print techniques that enhance traditional benefits of a physical mail piece. This in turn can drive higher response rates and increase the overall return on mailers' investment in mail. By encouraging the use of technologies integrated in mail, the Postal Service expects to increase the value of direct mail and retain volumes of transactional, first class, and marketing mail. Next slide. Both of the promotions you see here, personalized color trends promo and emerging advanced technology, provide a 2% upfront discount on postage. The personalized color trans promo promotion enhances first class invoices and statements with color marketing messages and encourages mailers to invest in color print technology. This is going on through the end of 2021. The emerging and advanced technology promotion encourages mailers to incorporate mobile and other technology to engage customers in new and exciting ways. This includes enhanced augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, near field communications, video and print, integration with voice assistants such as Google Home, Alexa, and also retargeted direct mail. Both first class and marketing mail can participate in emerging and advanced tech promotion. Here you see two of our most popular promotions, Informed Delivery and Mobile Shopping. Informed Delivery has over 40 million subscribers and 37 million email-enabled users that get the ID digest sent to them daily. We currently are signing up close to 300,000 new users every week. Again, this is a 2% discount at the time of mailing. Mobile shopping is also very popular and falls right in peak holiday season, utilizing QR codes, snap tags, watermarks, and this which send customers to online offers with the opportunity to make a purchase. So hopefully everyone's familiar with informed delivery. If you aren't already enrolled as an informed delivery residential subscriber, I encourage you to do so to give you a better idea of what the capabilities are from a business perspective. Informed delivery is a consumer-facing feature that provides consumers the opportunity to preview their household mail and manage their packages that'll be arriving. For business mailers, it allows them to conduct an interactive marketing campaign, integrating colorful and active elements which enhance and extend the mail moment for consumers, thus reaching audiences with a digital channel. The purpose again of this promotion is to encourage mailers to incorporate informed delivery into campaigns. All right, so let's take a little deeper look at the overview of the promotion. Enrollment actually is starting today on the 15th, and the promotion period is September 1st through November 30th. The image here gives you a better idea of what an active campaign would look like in an email. As you can see, it is in color and stands out from the grayscale mail piece that you'll see just below. The promotion period is from September through November and again applies to first class and marketing mail. So let's take a look at the informed delivery promotion components, Ride-along images require a strong call to action. A destination URL must be HTTPS secure. The destination URL landing page cannot require an email to access the site, and messaging cannot encourage online bill payment. Representative images must contain a PDF of the front or back of the physical mail piece. So let's look at some strong and acceptable call to actions. As you see here, a strong call to action prompts the clicks. Things such as manage your account, view your account, get a percentage off, get a quote, apply now. These are all acceptable and strong call to actions. Representative images are required for informed delivery interactive campaigns conducted on flat-size mail pieces, but are optional for letters. If you choose not to submit a representative color image, a grayscale image of the mail piece will be shown. You can see those two examples here. All right, next slide. So we'll dive into the 2021 mobile shopping promotion, which is also a very popular upcoming promotion and starts on August 1st. This promotion applies to marketing mail only. The mail piece must include mobile technology that can be read, scanned, or activated by a mobile device and leads the recipient to a mobile optimized shopping website with the ability to complete a financial transaction. The recipient must be able to purchase an advertised product from the site. This is a popular promotion as it's a perfect opportunity for peak season marketers to use as they promote their online shopping for the holidays. For the mobile shopping promotion, you must use a technology that can be scanned by a mobile device. The most common for this promotion is the QR code, but also other options that are listed here, such as digital watermark, again, enhanced augmented reality, and shoppable video. Here are the requirements for directional copy. Some examples of qualifying directional copy include statements such as scan to shop our mobile website, scan to shop, scan to purchase, scan to donate, buy now on social media, which must also include directional copy adjacent to the mobile barcode. Again, voice assistants are also part of this promotion, such as directions for the directions for the customer, excuse me, to use the voice assistant option must be specific. You can also use directional copy to say launch an online catalog, take me to the store's website, or hi Siri, take me to a specific donation. The mobile print technology, such as a QR code or those that I mentioned, can be on the inside or outside of the mail piece and clearly within the marketing message and not within the fine print. It cannot be on an order form, a DAL, a detached address label, or on a reply card. This is an example of a mail piece with a QR code. As you see here, one example with the bear would reflect a QR code used inside of the catalog or mail piece. And then on the other side of the screen here, you see how a QR code can be used on the outside of the mail, just to give you a couple of examples. To take advantage of this mobile shopping promotion, you cannot suggest things such as paying online for obvious reasons, sign up for free subscriptions, any links to non-optimized shopping sites, suggesting like or share on social media, view a video, in-store pickup, credit card applications, e-gift cards, or insurance quotes. Our 2022 mailing promotions, I should say proposed mailing promotions, include the same promotions as what we've had here in 2021, but with some additional incentives. There will be volume tiers added to some of the promotions and also an opportunity for increased discounts. We expect mailers to embrace some of the new technologies and take advantage of the opportunity for increased cost savings in the remaining of 2021 and into 2022. Here are several resources where you will find more promotion requirements and details, including Postal Pro and the Gateway. We didn't cover some of the promotions that started earlier this year, and we'll begin again expecting in early 2022. But all the details for the promotions such as emerging technology, tactile sensory, and then also earned value can be found on Postal Pro. It's a really good resource to learn more about those requirements. And the Gateway is also where we require registration to take advantage of the mailing promotions. So that's all I have for you today. And I thank you for your time. And I hope you found some benefit in the overview of the mailing promotions.
Thanks, Stephanie. I think the last thing that I'd like to talk about today is just a brief overview of some other services that are available that once you start talking about how do I reduce my postage spend, and they're all things that you know, if you've mailed in the past have probably talked about or had discussions about doing, but like Michelle said, there's, you know, consolidation or drop ship, you know, with some discount increases here, you know, we'll continue to look at this as a viable option to try to help reduce any increase that may be occurred should the proposals go through. So that's basically just bypassing all the origin facilities and palletizing out of our facility. Co-mingle is another option. It's for letter mail only. We put it in pre-sort order along with other mailings in order to penetrate and get us down to hopefully that 5-digit like Michelle talked about earlier. And co-mail is just the other option for flat mail pieces. Again, just multiple titles going into a mail stream to increase pre-sort density and maximize postage savings. This is just a quick slide showing kind of what does consolidation or co-mingle or co-mail accomplish. It basically bypasses all your origin facilities. It takes it into a destination facility, and what we've seen a lot of, especially from co-mingle and co-mail, is you bypass a majority of the NDCs and into the SCFs. And in some instances, hopefully you'll be able to get to a DDU if possible. So by bypassing all the origin facilities, you just save that expense, handling and processing, and that's where the discounts come in. So drop ship, that's just a shared cost model. It's at the pallet level. It's verified here on our shop floor. And then is hauled to Chicago, where it's consolidated with other mailings and trucked to the different postal facilities across the country. So co-mingle is a little bit different. Co-mingle typically is usually referring to marketing mail and first-class mail, but it's letter mail only. It's not flats. So sometimes the terminologies can be intermixed, but it's basically two or more mailings, and this is, in most instances, it's multiple mailings are merged together. Michelle, what is an average co-mingle pool run as far as pieces?
So average co-mingle pool is, I would say on average, like 3 to 4 million pieces.
And basically what that does is it allows your mailings, regardless of size, and I think that's the key here, is that regardless of the size of the mailing, then you gain the benefit of the other 3 or 4 million pieces in that mailing. So whether it's 100,000 pieces or 1,000 pieces, you can get into these the co-mingle pools and maximize your savings. This is kind of the setup, the machines, how it works. The trade mail is run through the equipment, and you can see it in the lower middle picture that it's just multiple pieces getting put together in trays, you know, and instead of going into the Aberdeen mail here, it's a 1,000-piece mailing. Now it goes into Chicago, it's co-mingled, comes out in a tray, and that now mail is going in a tray, let's say, to the SCF in Akron, Ohio. So it just breaks it down a little bit further and pushes the mail further downstream. Co-mail, again, applies specifically to flat mailings only, doesn't apply to letters. These are the specs. We won't go into much more of the details. It's a very similar process. It's taking your title, your catalog, and puts it through like mailing 1, mailing 2, mailing 3 here. And rather than mailing as 3 individual separate mailings, co-mailing through the co-mail line actually pulls those pieces into one mail stream, and then is run through the equipment to maximizing and get the density that you need and push it into the carrier route to achieve the lowest possible postage spend that's available. And again, I think that the best thing that over the years is just as technology improves, so does the capabilities of the equipment from speed, accuracy, and I think from my perspective, from quality control as far as the pictures and the cameras that are on the machine, that helps keep things in order and make sure things are accurate. And finally, the only thing that I just wanted to touch on is there's, you know, both Midstates and ALG are both seamless, accepted, approved by the post office. So basically all that means is that we are both leveraging the technology that the post office has available and making things as easy, fast, and simple and streamlined as possible. So we both have detached mail units, which basically means the post office is here on our property. We don't take our mail anyway for verification or acceptance. Both of these just help move the mail at a much faster, more efficient manner. So if you have any questions on any of those, please reach out to myself, your sales rep, your customer service rep, to talk more about, you know, what opportunities or capabilities do we have for your mailings. And this is just a simple, you know, it's not as simple anymore as it used to be. It's not, I got paper and envelopes and some ink, and what's it going to cost to complete a project? Freight and postage are a crucial part of the mix now, and it's really important to take a look at that part of it. So if you need help, you have questions, please reach out, and more than willing to do any type of analysis that's necessary to make sure that you're achieving the lowest possible expense in that area. So with that, I appreciate everybody taking time out. I don't know if you have any questions.
We did have one question, and that was in the chat, which was answered, but in case everybody wasn't not looking at the chat, the question was, can you still receive the USPS promotion discounts when using co-mailing, co-mingling? Michelle did answer that, but Michelle, I don't know if you want to expand on your answer at all.
Sure. So, a little bit of caveat. So you still have to, when needed, get a postal approval. It still has to qualify for all of the regulations that the post office set out. But yes, if you are co-mailing or commingling, you can still opt in for the promotion. Just reach out to Midstates. We have a place in our portal to tell us what promotion, and then we'll automatically apply that when we pay postage. So you'll see the discount just like you normally would on a standalone mailing for co-mail, and then commingle if it's your own permit or whatever permit you happen to use.
Well, looks like that's all of our questions so far. I don't think there's anything else that
One thing maybe to mention too, as far as the registration for the programs, Midstates as being a mail service provider, once we register for the promotions and we upload documentation for your mailing, it automatically enrolls you. So instead of you possibly having to go out and register for the promotion, if you just check with us first, if the mailing's being done either through ALG or through us, once we upload those e-docs, it should automatically give you the promotion discount because we register as a mail service provider. So if that helps you with the registration side of it at all.
Thanks, Tracy. Years of knowledge coming out. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for taking time. Everybody's busy these days, so I appreciate you. Hopefully you found some useful information. And if there's any questions at all, like I said earlier, don't hesitate to reach out to myself, to Tracy, or to your representative to proceed with any questions that you may have. With that, I'd like to thank everybody again and hope everybody has a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.